everyone. Once again, I welcome all the students in our this session, and actually this is will be going to be a second session for our this chapter that is called physical and chemical changes. That is chapter number 2 in the chemistry book of your 7th ICSE. So actually in our first lecture we have started this chapter, and we have seen, or we have discussed so many points, like we have discussed about introduction, what is meant by physical and chemical change, and we have seen so many examples around us that is comes under the changes. Some are natural, some are man-made, and some we have discussed some are natural, some man-made, and some physical and some chemical changes we have discussed in our previous lecture. And then we have taken some examples like ripening of mango, that is also one of the kind of the change, right? And then we have seen when the seedlings are growing from small seedling to a big tree or big plant, that is also one of the change we have seen. We have seen an example for melting of wax also, then melting of ice into water, then again we can freeze it. So many examples we have seen, that is also called the change. We have seen the days and nights are coming one behind another, so that is also one of the kind of change we have also seen. Then earth is revolving around the sun, that is also change, one of the changes that we have seen. So many examples we have covered in our previous lecture. And then we have just discussed about types, means how we can divide the changes for better understanding. How can we classify the changes? So one on the basis of several characteristics or several conditions we can be classify the changes. So number one criteria, you can say the type of changes we have taken, that slow changes and fast changes. Some changes are happening in a very less time period, so we have mentioned into the fast changes, and some changes will take more time to happen, so we have just covered into a slow changes. So this also we have covered in our previous lecture. And then we have also taken some examples of like slow changes. Man is growing or going to a old, so the age of the man is increasing, so that is also slow changes, right? From young man to growing a old man, so that is also slow change. It required more time, several years are required. Evaporation of water we have seen from the lakes, it takes some hours. And germination of seeds, fermentation of fossil fuels from plant and animal to be a fossil fuel, growing of a tree from a small seedling, and rusting of iron. So these all are the slow changes. These are examples we have seen for the slow changes. Some example we have seen which will come under the fast changes, that is bursting of an inflated balloon, it will very quickly it will burst, or bursting of a cracker, lightning of electric bulb. This is going to be a fast changes, and these are example we have seen. Then we have one more criteria we have covered, that is natural and man-made changes we have seen. Some are natural and some are we are doing that, so that is also we have seen in our previous slide, right? The examples we have seen, changes day and night, it is continuously changing, earthquake and growing of living organism, natural changes. Man-made we can see the formation of steel from iron, making of night from pieces of paper. So this all the man-made changes we can see. Then we have started in our last point, that is where we have end, periodic and non-periodic changes. So a changes which is repeating after a specific time interval, which is repeating into a specific time interval, that is called periodic changes. Example of periodic changes we can say change of day and night, and change of season, summer, winter, springs. So they are having a special time period, after a special time period, a specific time period that are going to repeat, that will come under the periodic changes. And full moon and new moon nights, that is also example of periodic change. Again we can see this slide, which will give you idea about some more example of that physical and chemical changes that is related, right? So here we can see the example, development of a high tides to a low tides, that is also a periodic change. And we can see the example that pendulum of clock that is showing a periodic change, right? It is rotating into a specific time intervals, so that is come under the category of periodic change, right? Then changes are not repeated at a regular intervals, it will going to be into a irregular, or that is called a non-periodic changes, means the changes are not repeating at a proper time or a specific time period. We cannot predict the time when it is happening again, so that will come under the non-periodic changes, right? So the intervals which are not going to be repeat at a specific time period, so change can be occur at any time period, so they do not have any periodicity, it is called a periodicity. An example we can also see here, that is example of non-periodic changes: landslides, earthquakes. So we cannot predict, nobody can predict when the landslides will be happen and when the earthquakes will become, so that is a non-periodic change, we can say. Then power breakdown in our houses, etc. So many examples we can also see, we can also take by your own mind, that is how it is come into a non-periodic changes. And in our day-to-day life we can get fever, right? Sometimes we are having fever, then sneezing, headache, etc. So nobody can predict when we are having a fever. It is non-periodic, it is also one of the type of change, but non-periodic. So these are some non-periodic changes that occur around as well as within us, right? In our surrounding also it can be happen, or some changes like fever, sneezing, headache, that is inside our body, it will also happen. So an epidemic, when some diseases are epidemic, it can be viral in all the people. And sudden shower of rain, dust storms, thunderstorms, lightning are also other example of non-periodic changes. We cannot predict it when it is going to happen, what is going to be intensity of this all the natural disaster. So that is also going to be in the category of non-periodic change. It can be repeat in any time. So an epidemic, and these all are going to be in that. And desirable and undesirable, this is one of the again one more characteristics we can also say. On the basis of that we can be classify the changes, as we are as we have seen already so many example, periodic, non-periodic, slow and fast, right? So we can also see this desirable and undesirable characteristics. The changes that are useful to us or useful for mankind are said to be desirable changes, means if the changes will happen in some things, it is desirable for us, it is making some advantages for human being or mankind. So for example, when cooking, gas burns, right? When we are using a gas like our LPG, so when it is burning, it is advantage for us, this is one of the change, but we can cook our food on that, and it produces the heat to cook the food, so that is desirable change, we need that, that is good for us. And similarly, milk turning into curd is a desirable change. So already might be you have seen the example of some microorganisms that are like lactobacilli, which is growing into the milk and converting into the yogurt, that is fermentation, so that is desirable. Actually if you see, the milk quality is totally changing, it is having some sour taste and we cannot use as a milk, but this is desirable. Why? Because this is turning into the curd, and curd also a good product we can be used in our so many recipes, so that is a desirable change. So like this we can divide our changes into desirable and non-desirable changes. So any change that is brings about the destruction, right? Some is non-desirable for us, means we do not want the changes, and that is undesirable changes, like floods, epidemics, and earthquakes, that is undesirable changes, nobody want to that change will be happen, so that is come under the undesirable changes. So like this we can divide the changes into desirable and undesirable changes. This is a small activity for you, you can be just classify, or you can be just separate the example which is given in this activity 3, which are going to be a desirable change, which are going to be a undesirable change. So like this you can be divide into specific categories. So the example are growing up of seedlings or seedlings into the plant, so that is going to be desirable change, we need to grow the plants. Or conversion of the dung into manure, rusting of iron, storing of milk, and breaking of cups, drying of cloths, melting of ice, earthquake. So many examples are given here. So you just make a chart or make a table, one make for desirable change, one for undesirable change, and just segregate these changes and classify the changes which are going to be a desirable change and which are going to be a undesirable change, right? So it will give you a more idea about this chapter. So some changes are desirable at one time and undesirable at another time. So now this is a very different category which we are looking here. Before we have seen only the desirable and undesirable, but in our day to day life we are going to see some changes that is at a particular time or some in some condition that we can say that is a desirable change, or in some particular time it is undesirable for some other people. So that is we are going to be studying in this paragraph. For example, cutting of trees desirable for those who need wood for cooking, and but it is undesirable because it damages the environment, right? So we can classify, we can be put into both the categories, because it is desirable for the person which needs wood for their specific uses, and it is undesirable because it is making or it is increasing the pollution. So that is why if you are thinking about at the point of view of pollution, it is undesirable, but when you are means needed for the wooden in your day to day life, that time it is desirable. So like this, so many examples are there, that is we can be seen that is sometime it is desirable and in some condition it is undesirable. One more example is here, that is burning of fuel. That is we have seen already here, but burning of fuel, that is desirable changes, but burning of building is undesirable change. Like both the things are burning, fuels also burning, but the fuels are giving energy and that is required for us, that is desirable change. And we can have so many activities, we can cook the food, we can run the vehicle with the help of the fuel when it is burning. But when some building or some property is burning, it is undesirable because it is having the loss for human beings or from some other loss. So many loss we have because of the burning of buildings. So in that case it is undesirable. So like that, one thing only burning, but it is sometime it is desirable and sometime it is undesirable. So it will come in this category. Then timely arrival of rains, right? At the rains, if it is coming on a season, so that is desirable, right? The people will need the rain that time, and when in the proper time it is coming, so the rain is or the proper amount also, so it is desirable for us and the farmers will get the advantage. Otherwise it is undesirable to farmers, as it is causes the flood and destruction when it is coming on a wrong time, or when it is not required, the rain is coming or it is coming in a so much quantity, so it will take the conditions like a flood. So that is undesirable for the human beings. So this is the example which can be, we can say it is coming into the both desirable as well as undesirable, but as per the time or as per the requirement, as per the quantity, that is come under the desirable and undesirable. So these are some characteristics. On the basis of these characteristics we have just dividing the changes into special categories. Now we can be divide this reversible and irreversible changes. This is also one of the category or one of the characteristics. So with the help of these characteristics we can also divide the changes into desirable and undesirable. So that is come reversible and irreversible. So the same thing, if the changes can be reversed, it is called reversible change. When the change is or the change in a substance can be reversed by changing the condition. If we are changing some conditions and the change will be come onto a means it can be a reverse or it can be come back to the original state. So that is called a reversible change, right? So and when the conversion into, we can take the example, the water converting into steam at 100 degrees centigrade if you boil it, and the steam reversing into the water on a cooling is an example of reversible change, right? When you are making the temperature high, the water will boil and it will evaporate and it will convert into the steam, and when we just reduce the temperature, so we can condense and we can again get back the water again from the vapor. So that is a reversible change. We have just changed the condition, we have just changed the temperature and we have just taken back to the before from where it is started. So that is called a reversible, it can be reversed. Or Melting and sublimation are also the reversible change. When the ice is melting, so again we can be make it again back to the ice, again we can be melted. And reversible changes indicate by the two opposite arrows. If you want to write the reversible change, so we have to just use this two arrows like this. We are using this arrow, means in the first arrow it is just informing the water. When you are giving heat, it is converting into the steam, so that is steam. It is one of the change from water to steam, and it is reversible change because when we are cooling the steam, it will again come back to the water. So this arrow will show you the reversible equation. So that is shown via both the arrow, that is shown this equation or this reaction can be a reverse also, that is reversible change, right. So examples of reversible changes, that is glowing of an electrical bulb. When you just switch on the light, it will glow. When switch off the light, it will again switch off. So that is come under the reversible. You can reverse it. Stretching of a rubber band, and plowing of a field, melting of wax, and dissolving sugar into the water, vaporization of water. These all are the example which can become under the reversible change. We can be, when we stretch the rubber by applying force, when we releasing the force, it can come back to the original state, right. And when we just melting of wax, it can become under the, again it can become to the back to the normal state. Dissolving a sugar, we can be again separate or again separated by evaporation of the water. You can again get back the sugar or crystal of sugar. So that is why it will come under the reversible change. So this is one of the most category we will just categorize into a reversible or irreversible changes, right. And one more thing is here, if substances cannot be brought back to the original state by after some change, or it is said to be a irreversible change. When the certain changes are happen into a specific substances, and you cannot make it, you cannot take it back to the original state, that is called irreversible change. It cannot be bring back to the original state. So that is because we can see paper cannot desirable back into the ash. When you burn the paper, so you cannot take back to the original piece of paper from the ash. Once it is burned, once it is released the energy in the form of heat and light, so you cannot do anything to get it back into the original state. So that is comes under the irreversible change. Example, we can also take some example like grinding of wheat corn into the flour. Once you just grind the wheat or flour or corn and you get the flour, so you cannot convert the flour into the grains again. So that is irreversible change. Cooking of food, once you cook the food, you cannot convert into the raw material again. So that is also come under the irreversible change. Rusting of iron, once the iron get rusted, you cannot make it back to the normal properties of iron. Burning of candle or wood. Ripening of fruit, once the fruit will get ripened, you cannot get back to the raw fruit. So that is a irreversible change. Growth of living organism, once the plant will grow, once the animal will grow, you cannot get back into the small seedling. So that is also come under the irreversible changes. So this is one of the one more category or one more characteristics. On the basis of that, we can classify the changes into reversible or irreversible changes with the help of this property. Now we will just take a look on this activity 4, that is make a clear classification of about the changes, that is reversible, irreversible. So here just you have to just tick on yes or no, whether it is a reversible change you can tick on yes, whether it is irreversible change you just tick at no. You can do this activity at your home and just write down in your notebook and make 2 columns again which are reversible changes, which are going to be irreversible change. Some example we will discuss here only, that is a raw egg to boiled egg. So once you boil a egg, so you cannot get back into the raw egg, so that will come under the irreversible change. So this is not a reversible change, so you just put onto the no. Then batter to idli, when the batter will get converted into idli, you cannot get back into the batter because it is get fermented, fermentation has happened already, so we cannot get back it onto the original state. Wet cloth to dry cloths. Once the cloths get dry, you can again just means add some water into the cloths and you can get back into the original state. So that is come under the reversible change. Wooden yarn into a nightingale sweater. So again you can be just remove the yarn and you can be open up the sweater. Reversible change is there. Grain into flour. Once you make the flour of the grain, you cannot make it again back to the flour. So that is comes under the irreversible change. Cold water to hot water, it can be possible. You just stop the burning, so it will again come under the come back to the cold water, right? So these are so many examples are given here, that is come under, you can just classify them into what are the reversible changes and what are the irreversible changes on the basis of what we have seen before, right? So just whatever the remaining examples, I request all the students just separate it into the reversible and irreversible changes. Like the milk to cheese also, once the milk has changed into the cheese, you cannot get back, that is also come under the irreversible change. So these are changes we can say it can be reversed or cannot be reversed. So these all the characteristics, on the basis of these characteristics we are just converting, or we just dividing or understanding what are the physical and what are the changes, physical and chemical changes. So now physical and chemical changes, this is one of the basic category or the properties we can be used. So in science, all the kinds of changes mentioned above can broadly be classified into two types. Up to here we have just classifying the changes on the basis of slow or fast, reversible or irreversible, right? So on this is the actual criteria how we can be divided into a basic two groups, whether it is a physical change or whether it is a chemical change. So all the changes you just be here classified into this two changes, physical and chemical. So let's see how it is happening. So just let's start with a physical change first of all. So we will in this just we will just discuss about the physical changes. So what is actually the physical change? The physical change is a temporary change, right? It's not a permanent change, or it can be a reversible also. Physical change can be reversible and it is a temporary change, and in which no new substance is formed, right? Whenever the reaction will happen, so the new things will be not formed into the physical change, and the chemical composition of the original substance remains the same. Whatever the substance are going to be in a change, its chemical property will be remain same, it will not going to be change, even though some of its physical properties like color, state, shape, size, etc. may be changed, right? So what is physical change? In this, it is a, first of all, it is a temporary change. No any property will be change of the substance, and no new things will be formed, right? No new substance will be formed. And the next thing, the physical property like shape, state, size, color can be changed of the product which is going to be under a physical change. So that is why these are the characteristics on the basis we can be just understand which is physical and which is chemical change, right? So now let's see the interconversion of states of the matter, a physical change, right? This is the basic thing you can be just understand. Interconversion of states of the matter, like from solid to liquid, liquid to solid, liquid to vapor form, evaporation. So these are only the physical conversion of the matter, right? No any characteristics will be changed of that matter, only the physical states are changing, that is called a physical change. And you might have observed that ice when taken out, this is very good example when we are just discussing about the physical and chemical change. So the ice when you are just taking out from the freezer or refrigerator, it's going to be melt, and just it is converting from solid state to liquid state. Again if you are putting that ice into the refrigerator, again it will just convert into from liquid to solid. So that is also come under the physical change only, because the property of the water will remain same when it is in the form of ice or when it is in the form of water or liquid. So the properties are not going to change. This means that properties of water and ice are the same, and there are no change in the chemical composition. So the chemical composition is becoming same, is going to be same in the form of ice or in the form of liquid. So that is what is called physical change. And on the melting of or the freezing, no new substance is formed, right? There is not going to make a new substance when it is melting or when it is going to be freeze. So that is why it is called a physical change, right? And it is also say that only the state is changing. So these are some points to be just keep in mind how the changes are happening. It is not giving you a new substance, it is not a permanent change, it is a temporary change, and the properties are not going to be changed. That is a few characteristics. On the basis of that we can be classify the physical and chemical change. And we can also see in the next paragraph that is similarly, when water is boiled it changes into the stem, and on cooling the steam get back changes into the water. So this is also, it's only the changing the physical state. From when we are heating or boiling the water, it is just converting into the steam. When we are reducing the temperature, it is again get back into the liquid form. So again no new substance is formed, right? The new substance is not going to be formed in this reaction. Only the physical state of the substance are changes from liquid to gas or from gas to liquid form. So no new substance is formed, only the state of the matter is changing, and the characteristics also remain the same. Thus on removing this cause of change, substance return to its original state. And what is the cause here? The heat. While you are giving the heat, it is just changing into the vapor form. When you are removing the heat, it is just again coming into back to the liquid form. So by removing the cause, you just bring back the change into the original state. That is why it is called a physical change, and it is a reversible change also, we can be say. So that is all about, we have discussed what is mean by a physical change, and so many examples is here. So we will see what are the examples are given in this chapter to understand what is the physical change. But the properties, just remember in this lecture that why it is called a physical change, and because it's only the changing the physical state of the matter, and properties are going to remain same, no new substance will form, and it is a reversible form. So that is why it is called a physical change. And the example of physical change we will see in the next lecture, and then afterwards we will just start with the chemical change. So up to that, just go through this all the slides what we have seen, and write down these activities what I have told you. Just write into the which are the reversible change, which are the irreversible change, what is a slow change, which is a fast change, right? So this all you can be, if you are, and you can be write the so many points from your own mind, you can be write so many examples from your own mind also. Okay, so see you into the next lecture. Take care.